Hello and welcome to this edition of Safe and Secure. We have an exciting show for you today.
In an effort to get to know our police better, the Southfield Police Department recently held Pop with a Cop at a nearby Outback Steakhouse, where residents could meet and get to know some of our officers better. Also, the city has purchased new speed signs to make residents more aware of areas where speeding has happened.
And you may not know that there is an area around the City Hall that has been designated as an e-commerce site, a place where internet business transactions can take place safely.
And the Detroit Tigers Winter Caravan stopped by the Southfield Fire Department to join in our 75th anniversary celebration. We'll have this and more today on
Safe and Secure.
Residents of Southfield have a few unique ways to get to know their police force. One of them is an annual Pop with a Cop, an informal get-together at an area restaurant where residents can meet officers and discuss their mutual concerns in a stress-free environment.
Well, Pop with a Cop is a great opportunity for the police department to have some positive outreach with the citizens. So what we're doing today is anybody is welcome. We put it on our Facebook page to come join us here at Outback Steakhouse today and sit, have a pop with us, have some appetizers with us, and just ask questions. And it's great for us to interact with the community outside of our normal course of duties, outside of police runs. This is an excellent opportunity for residents to engage with us about concerns in their neighborhoods, or concerns they see out on the street, and get better direction as what course of action to take. A lot of times they don't want to call 911, and sometimes it may be the proper thing to do is call 911. Other times they may be able to call the police front desk, get in touch with our community police officers if it's a more complex problem that requires more attention than just a 911 call.
I worked in Southfield, and I finally got married and decided to live in Southfield. I lived in an apartment for 3 years. Then we purchased a house in Detroit for about 3 years. But we liked Southfield so much, we decided to move back. So we now have been in Southfield for about 20 years. Love my neighborhood. It's a great community of people. We always look out for each other. A couple of years ago, we established a neighborhood watch so we can all kind of take a look at, make sure we're looking out for each other property-wise. So it's fun. The neighbors are quiet, but it's been a pleasure with my neighbors and my neighborhood. So my interaction with the police department has been fairly good. I actually have a friend of mine, a golf buddy, who was on the police department who's now retired. But I got more engaged with them when I became part of the neighborhood watch. Chief Hawkins and some of the officers would come out. They would come to our neighborhood association meetings, meet with us, talk to us about what was going on in the city, share data with us. And then because of that, I decided I got introduced to the Southfield Citizens Police Academy, which is a 10-week course, a couple of hours a week to understand more about police operations, get to know some of the officers, the K-9 unit, and just open our eyes up a little bit more to how to better assist our police officers in doing their job. Well, I tell you what surprised me a little bit is that they really took time to cover what we call the elephants in the room. If you wanted to talk about police brutality or something you saw like what happened down in Missouri with Mike Brown, they really said, hey, listen, let's put those things on the table, let's talk about them. That's not indicative of everything in every police department, but let's at least talk about it because we all have our perspectives on what happens and let us give you our perspective, right?
Yeah, so some typical concerns we get are like noise complaints, for example, loud parties. Maybe a neighbor has a loud vehicle that they start up every morning that draws attention or disrupts the officer. Something they're certainly not going to call 911 about, but they can reach out to our community police officers. And then from there, our community police officers can try to take some sort of corrective action, even if a law isn't necessarily being broken, but there's some turmoil between neighbors or some something that needs to be smoothed over. Animals, dogs especially, are a huge issue in Southfield. We have an animal warden right now, ACO Bob White, and he handles most of our animal complaints. Of course, anybody can contact the police desk on a 24-hour basis if they need assistance. Thankfully, we're in the process of hiring a second animal warden right now, so we'll have a days and an afternoon spot to address some of those problems. And having an animal warden specifically handle them is much more beneficial than a police officer. Number one, the animal warden has special training in dealing with animals, animal abuse, and animal complaints. That can keep the police officers on the road, engaged in more proactive activities with the community and more crime prevention type of activities with the community. On a yearly basis, we run a Citizens Police Academy, and once a resident completes the Citizens Academy, they're eligible to join the Chiefs Advisory Board. And once they're on the Chiefs Advisory Board, that group typically meets about once a month with the Chief of Police, and it's his opportunity to have involvement with the citizens, address their concerns, and maybe clarify how some things in the police department operate.
I'm very proud of my police department and my community. I think they have gone the extra mile into trying to meld with the community, right? Get us to understand that they're on our side and that we're here to help them. And because of that, it's really been a fun time. Most of the officers are great. And so I think that they do a service to their community, and it makes me proud to live in the city of Southfield.
In an effort to get residents to slow down in high traffic areas, the city has purchased new electronic speed signs. Sergeant Tom Litoraki tells us more.
The sign that's behind me is one of our new remote-controlled speed signs that we have here in the city of Southfield. We have 3 of them. They're portable. We operate them over a web-based program. They're controlled remotely. We're able to deploy them on temporary connectors that we have that we can attach to poles or trees or existing signs like you see here behind me. And it's part of our new technology in trying to assist the citizens and the visitors of the city of Southfield in knowing what their speed is when they're coming through a high traffic area like this, where we have a lot of different restaurants and a lot of pedestrian traffic that crosses this street here. So they get visual input from how fast they're going if they're not paying attention to their speedometer. This sign was put here for a specific reason. There was a few business owners in the area that were complaining that they believed that there was cars coming through here at too high of a rate of speed. There's a pedestrian crosswalk right here behind us. People cross the street all the time from the restaurant or the different businesses to conduct business every day. So we put that speed sign out here about the 21st of November. We've been monitoring it since then remotely. As of yesterday, December 3rd, over 100,000 cars have passed that sign, and 85% of them are compliant with the speed limit here on Evergreen Road, which is 40 miles an hour. I will say this, I've never seen anybody stomp on their brakes when they see a regular speed limit sign. The day I put this up, I started seeing people stomp on their brakes when they were made aware of, with visual input of what their speed limit, what the speed limit was and how fast they were going in relation to that. So I believe, yes, that it has made an effect on that, and it's positive. The sign starts reading your speed at 1,000 feet away from it. If your speed is within whatever the parameters I have set for this sign is, if you're in excess of 27 miles an hour, it's going to start to read your speed and display it. If you're coming into the area too fast, 37, 38 miles an hour, it's going to start to blink, and that's to catch your attention. If you come into this area in excess of the speed limit at 40 miles an hour, it's going to flash a strobe in your face to make you even more aware that you need to slow down. The sign has a lot of different features. One of the features that it does have is a feature called stealth mode, where you're able to turn the sign off. The sign does not look like it's on. It does not display anything outwardly, but it still records data. That way you could put it at a location, leave it there for 4 or 5 days, let it monitor the traffic, then turn it on and see if it has any effect on the people that are coming through there, if corrective action needs to be made, and if that's having any effect on the problem area.
The Detroit Tigers annual winter caravan kicked off with the team splitting up and taking 2 buses of players, one the North Bus and the other the Metro Bus, to various venues across Michigan to meet with fans, participate in fun events, and generally create some goodwill and excitement ahead of spring training. The Southfield Fire Department was happy to welcome the Detroit Tigers to Fire Station 5 to help them celebrate their 75th anniversary.
It's our opportunity to give back. We have the players here, they're taking their physicals, we have a sponsored dinner, and while they're here, they want to give back, so we like to connect with as many fans and community partners as possible in our day and a half.
Just having them come out and interact and do a training scenario with us and actually put the gear on and see actually what we do was really cool to see that they really appreciated and got a feeling of how heavy the gear is and how fast you become hot and the tight spaces that you have to climb through. So it was good to actually interact with them and show them what we do day in and day out.
So the Tiger thing came about, 2017 recorded our 75th anniversary of serving the citizens of Southfield and Lathrop Village, and somehow the Tigers became aware of that. So as part of their 2018 Winter Caravan, they chose to want to stop by and congratulate us for the 75 years of service we've provided to the community and check out some of the things that we do around here.
75th anniversary was, it first came about by the Detroit Tigers and Belfort contacting us and asking, can they come by and celebrate our 75th anniversary with us. The players would just like to have lunch or dinner with us and talk about firefighting and how cool it was. Oh, it was an unbelievable treat. I really didn't believe that it was actually going to happen until it actually was like a couple days before, to have professional athletes in our fire stations and actually wanting to know how it is to go into a burning building, how it is to help anyone that may be near death, or you actually bring people in this world by delivering a baby, and the adrenaline rush. And then we found a lot of similarities to a lot of the professional athletes. Is they experience a lot of the same things in the same team and goal-oriented type of things that they actually work on in the training and the preparation. Well, they arrived, they came in on a big caravan bus, and they kind of staged them in the back in one of our weight rooms.
Yeah, this was kind of a unique event between the Tigers organization and the Southfield Fire Department, some of our current members. They kind of came in and got to see what it's like to be a firefighter. We talked to them about various aspects of our job, and then we had a little bit of fun with them. We had played a couple games with them. At one point, 2 of the Tigers went head-to-head and seen how they could get our gear on.
Well, we had Captain Jason Deneau was helping them go through RIT, Rapid Intervention Training. Now, this team is set up just to rescue firefighters that get into trouble. So he went through a couple evolutions with them and shown how they would get through an entanglement, and how they would get themselves out, or how you would cut a hole through a wall and actually crawl through it, and how you can actually maneuver yourself through a tight space through 2 studs in a wall. So that was good for them to try to do that with all that the heavy gear and on. So that was quite of a sight to see some of the players dress out and try to actually maneuver through some of these obstacles.
I did have firefighter paramedic McKee from the fire department was there with us. And what we did for the RIT training is this kind of unique team we have here in the fire department. It's the firefighters, if you will. We go in and rescue our own when we get trapped or lost inside a structure. So we kind of put them through some of the drills that we practice on a regular basis to show them kind of what it's like being part of that RIT team. Yep, so as part of the training, we had one of the Tigers actually suit up in full gear, the coat, the pants, boots, helmet, and an air tank on the back. And one of the things we actually had them practice with us is going through, or we call it a stud swim, where we go through an area that would normally be part of a wall. We go between the wall studs. So we showed them the technique that we use to be able to get through there while wearing all our gear. We also were able to show them and demonstrate to them some of the confined space or the entanglement hazards that we have and how we have to be able to get through tight spaces and navigate our way around the fire scene.
So you can see what Zach just did was kind of fat.
This means recording.
Well, one of the things we did was the heads up game with them. It's kind of a game that you may or may not have seen before, played at a party or a family gathering. What it involves is you and your partner sit down and there's some words that pop up, traditionally on a cell phone screen, but we used a larger screen for this. And then your partner has to describe the words to you, and you have to guess what words are up. So one of the kind of unique things about this game with us is all these terms and words were firefighter themed. So it's interesting to see, how one of our firefighters were able to try to describe these things to the Tigers, but even more interesting was the Tigers trying to figure out what in the heck we're talking about and come up with the words that were up on the screen.
All right, we're ready to go. And again, these words are going to have to do with the fire department. Let's get it going in 3, 2, 1.
When something catches on fire, it will burn. Right. This makes an annoying noise when products of combustion float up into it. It's on the ceiling.
What?
This is a red chunk of big metal in the ground that we get water out of. Dogs pee on it.
Fire hydrant.
Right.
Yes. Tigers catcher John Hicks. And from the Southfield Fire Department, let's give it up now for Michael Storms. He will, round of applause. All right, he will give the clues. Again, same thing. You cannot use any part of the word in your clue. You only have one pass. You guys ready? All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1.
We transport people to the hospital in this.
Ambulance.
We use this to put the fire out.
Water. Hose.
It's the thing that makes the noise on the fire truck to get people out of the way.
Siren.
Stop, drop,
And roll.
Or, that's wrong. Babies do this.
They cry, they crawl.
We put these on our hands to protect our
Gloves.
We use it to climb up the side of a house.
Ladder.
We use this to put out a fire. Pass.
Oh, you get.
We're in it.
Yes.
Firehouse.
We're tallying up the final votes here to see who won. It's a pretty close competition there.
Well, we also had a dressing out game where they actually raced and putting on the fire gear. That was firefighter paramedic Zach McKee, and also it was firefighter paramedic Tom Dion. So they actually helped two of the Tiger players put the gear on. It was time, see how fast they could put the gear on and get out and be able to get out the door. So that was also fun. Anytime those competitions within the organization, it helps bring help that team morale. So that was also a fun game that we actually got to do with them.
You're used to seeing these guys either on the field or on TV and kind of superstar status here in the Metro Detroit area. So it was neat to see how down to earth they were and how personable they were coming in, talking to us. I know when some of our guys sat down and were eating lunch with them, it actually got on more of a personal level. I think a couple of them were talking about motorcycles and riding, and some more were talking about fishing and where they like to go, their favorite spots are to go out and have some fun when they're not on the field.
Yeah, it was a real intimate affair with the Tigers. The Tigers were really concerned about the service that we give to the citizens day in and day out, and they really wanted to interact. And it was closed to the public. Only current firefighters and Tigers, and we just sit down and we actually broke bread together. We talked about how is it to be a Detroit Tiger compared to how is it to be a firefighter, and found a lot of common ground there and a lot of similarities about being part of a team and an organization and a professional organization. There were a lot of similarities there, and I think we learned and got a greater appreciation from each other from there. We were lucky to receive a helmet signed by all the Tigers. It's quite a showpiece. I mean, any chief would love to have a helmet signed by all of the Tigers. So that was quite an award. I'm calling it an award to win, but what a thing to have, to display and and to show the pride and the teamwork.
Yep, so Balfour was one of the corporate sponsors of the event. They kind of partner with the Tigers and go around, and it's unique for us because Balfour is also one of the board-up contractors we use on fire scenes. After we're done, they come out and help button up the home to prevent any further damage from the elements or the weather. And they also presented us with a plaque commemorating our 75th anniversary. So that was kind of unique and special for us as well.
We also received a 75th anniversary jersey from the Tigers. You know, to me it says job well done. I mean, we've been protecting the city of Southfield for 75 continuous years. 365 days a year. So, it's a great milestone. I mean, it's I look back at our retirement wall of all the members that have actually come before us, and like, wow, there is quite a few things on that wall that I'm very happy about, and that is just it's the dedication and the traditions and the honor that's on that wall of 75 years of the members that came before us that still continues to help keep the citizens and visitors of this city safe. It is just a great representation of that.
Well, I think it just gives them an opportunity to get to know our players up and close. They're just real people like everybody else. I think it's also an opportunity for the fire to get back to the firehouse and let them feel good about what they do and that we appreciate what they do.
We found a lot of similarities between a coach and being a management of a team. I really enjoyed the new skipper and having those conversations about dealing with all the different personalities, different training regimens, bringing the team together, finding that cohesive unit and finding that way to work. And it's, as he says, the new Tigers team. And like I said, and we're doing a lot of hiring and because of attrition type of things, we're going to actually change our team quite a bit. And so it was a lot of real cool similarities. We had a lot in common.
The role of the fire department has changed over the years, with firefighters facing more challenging fire emergencies all the time, as well as medical situations.
It has changed dramatically. We are definitely a community service-based organization. We go out, and it's one of those deals where people don't know who to call, so they call the fire department. So we have to come up with some creative solutions from time to time to solve people's problems. And it's really, this department has evolved over the years from just a fire-based department to being the first EMS-based department, or ALS, Advanced Life Support Department in the state of Michigan, to now all the other calls for service that we go out and look for ways to help our community members.
Due to retirements, the fire department is looking for new firefighters with an open posting until December of 2018.
We have a lot of vacancies that are going to come up due to retirements, and so we're looking for some good individuals to help that want to join this team. I think this year we had another record year. We're still the busiest in Oakland County with fire and medical calls. It's always a good idea to, hey, when daylight saving times happens, to change those batteries in your smoke detectors, whether you need it or not. If it's not chirping at you, still, if you have that regular routine of changing those batteries in those smoke detectors, when daylight saving times happen, I think it's a good regimen that every household should follow. We're always looking for more community outreach things. We'll be around. We're doing our CPR classes. We have our car seat installations here, and we also have we provide free smoke detectors to homeowners that can't afford to buy them themselves. That we will provide one here at our main fire station.
One of the most rewarding things is being able to actually provide a service to the community, to help them, to know that chances are if they're contacting the fire department, it's one of the worst days of their lives, or they have a problem that they can't figure out and solve. And to have the ability to go in there as a team and come up with a solution to their problem is really a rewarding experience for us.
If you are a new e-commerce business selling to local clientele, or a resident trying to sell something through sites like Facebook or Craigslist, you're no doubt worried about your safety when meeting a buyer. Reports of crimes associated with these meetup transactions should create a healthy skepticism of conducting business this way. Now, many communities are taking steps to make selling products online a bit safer. They're creating e-commerce safety zones.
The City of Southfield and Southfield Police Department started the e-commerce safety area in 2016 with the advent of person-to-person meetings over the internet and people selling different things on different either social media or different trading sites or sales sites like Craigslist or Instagram, Facebook. There's the list goes on and on and on. People started to meet in different places. The internet, they didn't know who they were talking to, so some people weren't comfortable with meeting people in their homes. So we figured why not have a place where people could meet and feel safe that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In the years before we started our e-commerce safety zone, prior to 2016, there were a few incidents in our city and other cities that we became aware of. We communicate with the other area departments where some unlawful activity had occurred in meetings where people had posted online that they had something for sale or wanted to meet somebody for something on sale. They would meet in a public place that the seller or the buyer thought it was a safe area, be it one of the local retail establishments or at a coffee shop. And when they met the person that they were going to do business with, there was some other type of fraud involved in that transaction. Either the item was stolen from the person and never paid for with counterfeit money, a variety of different things, empty boxes, item not as advertised. Our e-commerce zone was put in place in 2016. It is inside the Southfield Police Department lobby here where we're standing right now, as well as out in our parking lot. There's a specified parking area that's about 20 spaces that's covered by or contained by some medians and parking blocks out there where you'll see signs clearly posted that it's the e-commerce zone. That area has been designated because there are surveillance cameras that also have night vision that run there 24 hours a day, as well as in our police lobby. If you want to notify the desk officer, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You're welcome to come in here and conduct your business. The City of Southfield will not participate in your transaction while you're here. It's a civil arrangement that you have between you and whatever the person is that you're doing business with. So we're not going to check anything for you. We're not going to participate in any changing of hands of money. We're not going to sign any receipts. We're not going to reframe our cameras to get specific on wherever you're conducting your transaction. We have other business to attend to, of course, that we need to be occupied with, or we may be occupied with, or there may be time constraints associated with that. And you don't have to be a resident of our community to come in here and utilize our safe zone. You're welcome to do it. If you're a visitor, you happen to be in the area, passing through, it doesn't matter. We'd rather you come here and do it and maybe be in a little more safer environment, or maybe prevent somebody from coming to meet you that had a different agenda.
Well, that's it for this edition of Safe and Secure. To find out more about the Southfield Police and Fire Departments, go to cityofsouthfield.com.
You can also find out more by going to our Facebook and YouTube channels and looking at our respective pages. Until next time, stay
Safe and secure.